Guys, welcome back to Mr. S and everything we was talking about in the video before, growing up in the culture or growing up in an amazing culture. So I figure continue part two, which is obviously going to probably be completely different because due to overthinking and ADHD, I don't remember what the hell we was talking about before I paused it and everything else. But anyways, I know that there'll be good content, so stick around, bear with me for a little while and just listen to the message, listen to it with an open heart. Like obviously I know I'm playing zombies, but the zombies is more of just something for your subconscious to focus on while you listen to the words that I'm saying, while you're trying to understand and comprehend the way that my mind truly works after living the life that I've lived. And that's one thing like that I think people really need to try to do and try to do better at is simply learning from it, people's experience, It saves you so much time if you can learn from others' hardships. And that's one thing that I'm trying to hopefully do because I get it, and I've been through it. I say I've been, I was poor, I've fought those battles, I've dealt with those battles, and with that, I know what I'm talking about, I mean, just the more you'll listen and the more that I talk about life and everything like that, you'll see that the words that I say are true. And if you just look at what I say with an open heart and open mind, you'll see that I might be on to something. That's all I'm trying to do is help people fix the mind that reality has forced them to have in a way. Reality and trauma and everything else. And the government doesn't want you to be better. They want you to stay down so they can keep it's a lot easier to control a broken community than just control people who are empowered, who are smart, who are finding out oh, apologies. Trying to find out, who really find out the answers to this life who can fight back. That's one reason why I think that the government is so much against the alpha male because alpha male causes so much problems. It's really it's a really messed up system that we're living in. And anybody who grew up in the hood and grew up being poor and having to move, life is not meant to help you up. It's meant to keep you down. You have to jump through every hoop to try to make it upward, and it's an uphill battle the whole time, Um, especially when you have internal wars like mom and dad are fighting mom and stepdad are fighting stepdad and mom are fighting up that's the same thing. Stepmom and dad are fighting or maybe your dad ain't around or maybe your mom ain't around like you ain't got no money, your mom is in between jobs, your dad's in between jobs. You're having to dig out the dumpster to in order to, you know, get a couch to sit on, picking up people's trash on the side of the road or having to get a mattress. Like, there's one time I was, this was down towards the worst part of my life. This is right when essentially my mom and my stepdad's relationship ended. It was the later end of their relationship. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of things of that nature. And in the same time, we was like I said, still poor. But at this time, we was kind of out in the country in a trailer. And uh, there's this guy's name was Mike Miller, who was a ex-Marine who my mom has fought and blackened his eye, but also I've seen the same man put my grandfather in a chokehold and put him to sleep because he would junk call him and insult him and he came out and he's trying to fight him in front of us and yeah, it was a whole crazy thing. But this guy, he's the only reason why we had any type of anything growing up. He would take us out to eat at times, we'd go to fast food place, McDonald's or whatever else. We would go or we would uh take us to the movies every once in a while, so because he just kind of had money and his kids didn't care about him, so he adopted us in a way, and he knew we're poor, so he helped out with a lot of things. And like even like every Saturday we would have it was basically like a tradition type thing. We'd go out and try to find clothes and stuff at yard sales for us, and or like certain things. I remember I got a game chair. Like it was just certain. stuff that just kinda, sticks with you, but it's crazy because 'cause I've witnessed like I say, I witnessed him in a lot of different lights, but essentially we was driving down the road and there was a mattress on the side of the road, and he knows how we was. We was always that way, and it was just normal. And the mattress, like, it was in good shape, I mean, looked relatively new, was cleaned, didn't like, we had to make sure it didn't have no bugs or nothing crazy in it. And essentially, I was maybe 10, and he had me like, we put the mattress literally just on top of the car, put your hand on top, was like, "Hold on to it," and he would hold on to the other side and drove it to my mom's house. So, the stuff like that, like, that's just that those kind of experiences, like, it molds you and you can't fake, you know what I mean? I thank God that I went through them though, because it led me to God. It made me a very smart and it made me a very intellectual person. So I'm very thankful for all my trials and all my battles, and I give all the glory to Him for them because that's really what they are. The Bible says that uh we are improved through trials and tribulations. We go through the fire, and the fire is what purifies you. So the battles on this earth are meant to help you. You just have to learn the lesson from each battle. So as you go on, if you have a battle with, okay, so one for me, I would put other people. Okay, so it's a woman. I will probably bring her up a lot. I hope and pray she becomes my wife. But she was the one who essentially pushed me to God. That was the last straw of this life. Because if I didn't, I would have shot myself. I didn't care what anybody else thought. I didn't care what anybody else thought. Definitely think. Uh, but I didn't care what anybody. No, it's thought. Ha ha! Wow. Sorry, that's a little bit of the retard coming out. But I didn't care what anybody thought. So I was done. I never made a connection with anybody. I never connected with anybody. It's always relationships and emotions has always been really weird for me. So like things like compassion, like that's just stuff I've always struggled with because I've always like, I've been through this and you're crying over something this small. But I've always thought logically. So I struggled with certain emotions and I've never connected with anybody, but I connected with her. And when I did, it brought out all the crazy traits. And I don't blame her for doing the things that did. I hold no blame against her. I understand completely, but it brought out the crazy side of me. I got attached, what I mean, I was tripping. I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing. Plus also whenever we were like on the phone, I could talk to her, but also I couldn't talk to women. Well, I couldn't talk to women I actually cared about. If I didn't care, I could talk to them like it was nothing. 'Cause it didn't matter to me what I said, so I was comfortable. But I know that I can be a lot to some people. So with a girl that I really care about, I don't want to mess it up. So I overthink it, I overfilter myself, and it just ends up being a whole lot of nothing. So basically, that through a whole bunch of other stuff, I messed it up first try around. I hoping second time she comes back through, we'll get it right. And I got faith in God that it will happen. I got hope in God. That's really that. But that right there, that's what brought me to God, because I know that this was a God who cared for us and a God who He puts these things in our life to teach us and to get our attention. And that's what the Bible says. Everybody's had an experience with God. Everybody has a peace in their mind who knows about something about God or about heaven or about hell. Like everybody knows. No one has went through this life and not heard about these things. And God puts us through these things to force us to come to Him. Essentially, it happens like life is hard because we have life in our own hands, and God makes it so that way you put it in His hands because you know He cares for you and He's going to help you. So, I've fought all my battles my whole life, and I've always just dealt with them. And I bottled them up and not addressed them, or I forget about them, or black stuff out. But with her, I couldn't beat that battle. So I had to find something outside of myself in order to survive because I wanted to die, but I also knew that I had to live for certain people in my life who depended on me and who needed me. Big one and probably the main one is my mother. Some of my siblings, like I know they would be all right, but I also know that I'm more help being around, you know. But my siblings, my dad, certain friends, you know, I knew I had to live for these people, so I had to find something outside of myself. Dang it, was that my first down? Yeah, it was. That was a dumb mistake. I saw the loot. I went for it. Anyways, so 39, first time going down when I'm zoned out the whole time. Not too damn bad. Oh damn, I didn't get. Hold on. Ah, load. That's not what I was doing. Oh yeah, I got one of these. Okay, but yeah, no. So I've always struggled with that connection and compassion, things like that. So when I found it, I got really bad really quick, which I know that, and I thank God He's taught me these lessons because of that. But one of them was whenever you have that connection and you that feeling that you never feel before, it's the strongest addiction you can have, and I do believe is true love is what it was, not the worldly love where it's attached to something like lust, but it was more I didn't want nothing from her. I just wanted to make her happy, keep her content, provide for her the stuff that she deserved type of thing because the man she's with, he ain't cutting it, you know? Plus he's taken away from God too, and that's another no no. Anyways, so I felt this connection and I needed it. I craved it, you know, I got addicted to it, so it made me really crazy, it made me ruin it, but at the same time, like, made me learn a lot of lessons. Like one of my issues is she had me question my own worth. And I knew that I was at fault in some places, but I also knew that she was backing off and changing because, you know, she did give it a try and I respect her for it. And, you know, like I say, I understand it all. But after a while, you can tell when people stop trying. And I could just tell, man. It's like I was trying to talk her into it. And it made me get to the point where I was questioning my own worth. And I realized like it was tearing me apart, and that's when eventually it hit me. Like, you know, I was praying about it, and I was talking to God always, and I was reading my Bible, and I was, man, what do I do? Because basically, it's the Bible. It's like an instruction guide. People don't realize this. Biblically, like I'm an intellectual person. I'm a realist. Everything I talk to you comes from a logical and a mindful standpoint. I'm not like I have faith on certain things, but I have logic is my first go-to, and that's me testing God. And you know, I was praying about it, and like there's been so many times where I've been praying about stuff and God has given me the answers. But I prayed about it, and I was like, man, what do I do? And it just kind of hit me, and it was like, man, your peace is your top priority. And I realized that was the issue is that it was stealing my peace. I was miserable. It's like I was like a beaten down dog. It was so bad. And it never hit me before because peace is always something that's just it was never really around upstairs because it was always battles going on. And like that right there, like it's just one of those life lessons that work for everybody. So hopefully as time progresses I can reveal more of these to people and stuff like that. Which one thing I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna keep a memory journal, start writing stuff down. And I think if I do that, then ideally I can bring up stuff easier. Because right now it's more just me trying to cut off the filter, let the ADHD go, just let it be itself kind of type thing. Ignore the fact that I'm talking to people and I'm just talking about life in general. But I have to consciously be aware. There is a ringing in my headphones, and I don't know why. But I have to more make it a point and be aware to just let it out. And you know, I'm more like I said, I don't like conflict, so I'll back off. Like I'll let my personality be the dormant one. If like I don't like around people who have anger issues, stuff like that, because I know I joke around. I know it can be a lot sometimes. So I'll back off, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let people walk over me. I'm not gonna let people make me change who I am. I would just kind of cut certain things off that I can live without, kind of thing, and just internalize them. And doing this, I more got to remember to just let it out, just let it flow naturally instead of overthinking it and trying to really push something. But no, I think eventually I'm gonna start taking down like a journal for my memories 'cause I got a bad memory anyway, so I think that'll be good because as I progress in time, it'll kind of help. So I think I'm gonna do that, and then from that, I could actually be able to bring up certain events and bring up certain lessons from each event that I recall. Because even though, like, yeah, my memory is very spotty with a lot of things, but a lot of like the severe things I remember very thoroughly. So it's I don't know, it's an odd thing. But I'm hoping that I can lead people to some type of truth. And even if it's not leading people to God, it's still just giving people answers on certain things that they're battling. Like if it's stuff with a relationship, I think I can help with it. If it's stuff with poverty, if it's stuff with work, if it's stuff with any kind of lesson from this life, I have confidence that I can give good advice on. But all my advice will be God based. But that's because that is the correct advice. Those are the true advice that people need to hear. Like I say, I'm an intellectual, I'm a realist. I don't see the glass as being half full. I don't see it as being half empty. I see it as a cup of water. That's what I see it as. I try to evaluate everything from a logical standpoint, and the things that I can't have explained, that's where I have the faith. But there's a lot of things that I can explain, but there's some things like you can't explain how emotions work. Emotions is just one of them things that it's just which I know that some people is like, oh, it's just chemical reactions firing in your brain one atom to another. It's making you feel this, that. But no, things like love, you can't explain love. Like the severe emotions that you feel in your soul, you can't explain. Now, see, that's the difference. Like, see, I say that I struggle with emotions, but the emotions from the soul, those ones, they hit me hard. So stuff like love, hate, happiness, anger, the ones that really relate to your being, those are the ones that I can really feel, and it just hits hard because I feel deeply. But, as a kid, I learned to cut all that stuff off. Hold on, I gotta take a damn drink break. Cora, stop. Damn, my lips are dry. Ugh, need to find a different. Actually, I got water right here. Let's see if this makes a difference. Yeah, not bad. I don't drink a lot of water. It actually did help a lot now that I'm actually speaking. I need to find a tone of voice I can speak in for long periods of time. Maybe if I speak with a little more. No, it still kind of hurts a little bit. I don't know. But no, if I can help people find some answers, help teach people, or maybe just make people laugh. I mean, which that's not my talent. Like I am a very I like humor, so I think eventually I'm going to open like I'm gonna do a podcast or one with my friends. It'd be a big group of us, and there's just all of us talking. We're funny people, and I know people would love to hear the humor as long as it's not the sensitive retards out there. Also, I've said it before in other videos, but just in case you didn't watch it, when I say retards, I don't mean to specially abled. I do not pick on the specially abled. I don't pick on people who can't control the things that people try to pick on. I used to, but I don't anymore. But I still never picked on specially abled because obviously it's like their life is hard enough, which I'm kind of curious on, which I'm iffy on anyways, because it seems like they're usually the happiest. But when I say retard, I mean more um people who just do stuff that's dumb, ignorant, stuff like that. I don't mean special able, like, I used to have special able friends, I used to hang out with them when I was at lunch. I was a popular person in school. I was still going, I would talk to them because they're coolest people, you know, they'd come sit with me like it was a mutual thing. So don't get me wrong when I say retarded. I never would say it in front of them, like, obviously I know, but when things are dumb, it's like, man, that's kind of retarded. Now, see, normally I used to say the F word and then tard. I would say F tard, basically, but I've cut the F word out of my vocabulary. I mean, it slips up here now and then, but I really try to keep it out. So certain words like screw, I'll say that, or sometimes like that hard F, it really hits. So and then I'll just say fire toe instead from 22 Jump Street, just because it's the hard F is what my brain is trying to say in a time of aggravation or being annoyed or whatever it is. But I gotta watch myself, so that's why I said retard instead of what I was gonna say. But no, I think though eventually, like that's like I say, my intent is not. Cora, stop! You need to stop going around rolling around the grass. Damn, you're making it worse on yourself. But my intent is not to make people laugh. It's more to inform with this channel. But I think if I opened it a podcast, like man, 'cause I know, I'm funny. Like so many funny stories. Like I would pay everything in this world. Besides that one female, certain family members, I would give anything to be able to see a highlight reel of my life and all the jokes. Like roasting battles, like man, I like just it was always like I've always done stuff to fun. Like there was one time where I bucked to a teacher just to make him jump, just to make people laugh, and like I didn't mean it as a fight way, and he kind of got that, so I didn't get in much trouble. Like, cause I always explain that it's a joke after I do stuff. But just because I was, a 16-year-old and I could make someone jump, make them jump, like it was funny to me. Or one time, like I was in class, and the student's name was Mr. Hackman. Like I felt bad because our class actually, he ended up quitting over our class. Like it was a year-long class, and we ended up trading teachers halfway through because he couldn't handle us. And it was me, like there was so many funny, like it was my friend group was it was all like my friend group was in there. So we was just and we always built off of each other and we would bounce off the energy, man. And like we'd have roasting battles and we messing around with people and oh, somebody brought a laser pointer. So I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna mess with him with this. And I had a laser pointer and I was first at first I was just kind of putting it on his body where other people seeing it, kind of chuckle and laugh. And then I was like, I'm gonna mess with him. So I would flash the laser pointer in front of like on his hand or something so he would see it. And then I would once he would turn around, I would stop and I would just cut off my face, because I can go straight face fairly easy. Uh, so I would just kind of look there, look calm, or look, and he would say stop, and I would do it again. And one time I got cocky and I was like outlining his hand or something like that, and he turns around and he sees like he kind of see me put my hand down, so he came, and I noticed that he was already coming. So as he was walking, I slipped the laser pointer under my knee and slid it to my other side, and I kind of held it inside my knee, and I kind of kept my hands closed on my desk as he was walking up. And he was like, "Where's the laser pointer at?" And he like put his hand out, so I opened my hands, and there was nothing there. And he looked all confused, and I was like, "Dude, I don't have a laser pointer. I don't know what you're talking about." So he like walks away, and then everyone's like, "Dude, how'd you do that?" I was like slid it out from under my leg. But no, like I've always be having fun, making people laugh. Like man, that's always been my thing. But there's also like I don't know. I've always been considered a hole because I would say it, but just in case I don't know who's gonna watch this. I don't. I try to. I'm trying to watch my mouth anyways. Even though God doesn't say do not cuss, I still know that it'd be better if I didn't. But uh, even though everybody's always seen me as a hole, but it was more just I did what I thought was funny, and people who were just sensitive didn't like it. you know. But there's also something too that I would do. Like okay, like I was always someone who if I got a burp, I'm going to burp because everybody does it now. Passing gas, I'm a little more conscious on. Hold on, I got freaking cups. Mm. Okay, it's a little bit better. But I've always been a little conscious on like, passing gas and things like that because I know there's more of a smell, but a burp, I don't care. I'll burp. Like, because everybody does it. So when I was younger, there was a girl who was in, what grade was I in? 11th. At this point, I really became the alpha douchebag of high school in a way. Even though it's like I was, but I wasn't. Like, I was a bully who bullied people who didn't normally get bullied. That was who I was. So, but I would protect those who got bullied constantly. Like my friend Fernando that I talk about, he was somebody who got picked on a lot, but he was a really good person. And I've always cared about people's character, not what other people think or how they looked and stuff like that. So I got to the point where we were good friends, but people would pick on him. So I ended up protecting him. I was like, yo, no one's gonna pick on him except me. Like I'll make jokes on him, but no one else was allowed to because they meant it in a way of harm, and he knew that I meant it from a place of love and caring and being a good friend type of thing. Same thing with like one of my buddies, Colin. He was one of the really short kids, so he got picked on a lot. But it got to the point where, like on the bus, people would try to give him hell, and I would be like, "Yo, but you better stop saying what you're gonna say, or mean you're gonna have issues because I could read in his eyes, man. Like it was breaking this kid, and like I could tell, like he's had a difficult time in life because of stuff like that. So I would protect people, but the ones who would bully people, I would tear them a new one because I thought it was funny and because I had ADHD and I always overthink. Thought, damn it, why do I keep doing that? Just because I always overthought I would, I would know, like man, they don't deserve this stuff like that. And when I would go against people, it was just I was thought so much faster they could never keep up. And my dad's the same way, and then I have a little sister who one of the six who is like that too. Who she's smart and sarcastic, and like sarcasm is a big one too. I'm unbelievably sarcastic. Like when people say, okay, like here's a big one that I do a lot, and it's not even really like it's more cringe humor in a way, but it's funny to me, so I don't care. But like someone say, hey, let me see that hammer, say we're at work, and my buddy asks for the hammer. I will show him the hammer, and I will get back to work. But because everybody says, show me the hammer, or let me see the hammer when they mean to grab it. And it's like, no, you mean, do you want to hold it? Do you want to have it? Like, you want to use it? You have to use the right word. So when people don't use the correct terminology, I exploit it and, make just kind of, they're cheesy, sarcastic jokes, but they're funny to me, so I don't care. Or like there's certain times like my dad, okay. You can tell people are obviously in deep thought because they're kind of zoned out and they're looking at something. And my dad was looking at his truck, and while we was at work, we worked two different construction jobs. We used to work together, but now we don't. But uh, we worked two different jobs, but we was on the same site because he was doing tile there and an addition that we just built and everything else. And he was like zoning out, looking at his truck, and he was thinking about something. And I was like, "That's a nice truck, isn't it?" Because I just thought it was funny because it's obvious that he wasn't looking at the truck or admiring the truck, but it looked like he was looking at the truck. And he was obviously zoned out, and it was his truck. So, and he just like kind of laughed, and he was like, "Man, don't make me smack you." And I was thinking about something else. So, things like that. That's just I don't know. It's just how I always, it's just how my mind works. But like I said, sarcasm. That's a big one. Sarcasm is one of my favorite. Dad jokes too. Dad jokes are so funny. I don't care what anybody says. Like it's cringy. It's cringe humor, but that's what makes it funny. Is the fact that people just they would rather turn their nose up to it than admire the simple. It's like a complex simplicity to the jokes, if that makes sense. Like it's funny because not everybody can think of stuff like that, but it's cringy at the same time. Like I said something to what did I say to my brother? Hold on, I'm trying to gotta rerun through the memory. Um, and I can't think of it. He said something. I don't know. But anyways, like them cringe dad jokes, like, I don't know. I find the I find that yeah, it is. It's just more just to annoy the person you're saying it to. Like it's all it is, just to kind of get under the skin a little bit. Which I've always like I do stuff like I'll honk. I used to honk at people just because it interrupts their life to think who is that person who honked at me? Did I know that person? You know, so stuff like that, like just a little tiny like inconvenience. As long as it's nothing severe, but just a little inconvenience. Like it's funny to me. Like same thing when someone's like, oh, I'm thirsty. Oh hi, but like oh hi thirsty. I'm Mr. S. Should I say? I don't know. So instead of obviously they're saying they're thirsty, but if they're saying it's not, they're saying I'm this. So it's more like they're calling this, it's saying it's their name. Stuff like that, I find beauty into it, but also I find beauty in a lot of things, when it comes to just the world and just how the human mind works and how it thinks. Like psychology and stuff like that are definitely going to be things that I'm trying to grow in and look into and just become better with as a whole. Same as sociology, also numerology, astrology, theology, stoicism. I want to learn certain languages, things like that. I mean, I really want to just learn all I can while I can in order to be as best equipped for the life that we're living. My whole thing is I have to find a way to make it so my memory so I can remember stuff easier. Like I have one method where I write everything down and kind of write out my own notes, things like that, but it still doesn't help me really retain it. So I really want to find a way where it's like I get to the point where people like where they have like that superhuman memory type of thing. If I can make my mind to like that, then which I'm sure I can. It's my mind. I can change it. I just gotta figure out how to change it. Which also, like looking at like meditation, studying on the pineal gland or the soul of the body pretty much. It's the spot right in the middle of your mind that it's basically the third eye is what it is. And Cora, stop. But it's essentially they call it a third eye, and it's located right in the middle of your brain, and it's actually not many people use it. But also it's got like these crystals in it that react to or the electrical currents that's in the airwaves, and also it's also really reactive to the rays and the energy of the sun. So they believe you awaken that, and if you can master that, that's more how you get into more of an open consciousness. Which in my first video, if you haven't watched it, go back and look. I described where I went on a beach trip and I felt as I expanded consciousness during a bachelor trip. Was on the beach that night. Things happen, and it's like I unlocked my mind. And I believe it might have something to do with this pineal gland and more just coming to realizations and learning more truths about the world. And it's like I was asleep, but now I'm more awake. It's more I lifted the veil from over my eyes. There's actually a Bible verse that says it. I can't think of it offhand. I know I have it in my notes, but it says that's what Jesus does. He lifts the veil from over your eyes. He wakes you up because everybody's asleep. Everybody thinks they have this life figured out, but they don't. Everybody thinks like it's truly it's remarkable on how blind everybody really is. And it's like the whole thing too, like where people is like, oh, that's my truth. That's not how truth works. That is such a stupid and illogical statement because there's the opinion and there's fact. No matter who you are, no matter what you think, opinion does not change fact. No matter what you feel or what you believe, I don't care how much you cross your fingers and twiddle your toes and believe the sky is neon orange, the sky will stay blue. Same thing. No matter how much you believe you should have been born a female, that's not how it works. You were born a male. You just got something happening. You were as a kid where somebody messed with you or touched you or forced this image on you. Something happened that, dang, see, this is why I like Forsaken better. For normally this would still be one hit, but something happened where it forced you to play the role, and you get so deep in the lie you believe it. But like, see me, I have had issues too. I was molested as a kid by my cousin, who I don't know who. Somebody must have touched him. Like I know it's a cycle because you don't. That doesn't just happen. Everything happens for a reason. So if you have a trait, there's a reason for the trait. See, I was molested because of that. It was happening when I was like 5, maybe 4, but it's like first memory type deal. So I was introduced to sex at a young age. So I was trying to have sex at 9 years old. I've been addicted to sex my whole life. Or I was. Glory to God, He's broke that habit from me. I still fight with it at times, but I'm so much better. Uh, which I never went out and just screwed women because I knew the emotional damage I did to women. Because me growing up with my mother, I knew the feminine side of life well enough to know what not to do in certain aspects. I got to the point where I thought, I started doing a news thing. I was getting pictures, man. I couldn't tell you how many pictures I've received over my life. It would be unbelievable. I wouldn't even know where to begin, honestly, over the years. But that's just because I was addicted to it. And I found out I didn't think I was hurting them doing this because I was like, it's just a picture. I never would share it. I might maybe show, like when I was really young, I would show certain ones to people, but it'd be just, showing them from my phone. It wouldn't be, actually, that's a lie. I just remembered. There was a few times I sent some stuff, but it was more to girls who would give them to anybody kind of type thing, which I know is wrong now. But I didn't think it was hurting these women because I was like, it's just pictures. So I became addicted to that, and I realized I didn't need to make myself vulnerable to get my fix. But luckily, I broke that habit, and I mean, I fall back every once in a while, kind of type thing, but not nowhere, nothing like I used to. Like it's damn near gone, kind of type thing. But I'm human, and I'm working on it. But no, so like I know that that addiction comes from somewhere, and it's because it was hardwired into me because I was introduced to sexual sensations at such a young age. Uh, but because of that, like there's some things that I've done that's questionable that other people like I've done bad things because of it. And I understand why now, so I've been able to move past it. But if I told people some stories, they would look at me as a very bad person. So I think that all of these experiences through life, it molds your mind. And uh, if you don't handle the essentially if you don't handle the trauma and address the issue, then you'll never grow past it. So with the whole you can be born a man, but in your mind you're a woman, like I think that's retarded. It's very obvious that men and women are different. That's why these men can convert to women and go master any woman's sport. Like you tell me men and women are equal, but there's a reason why their sports are separate because we are not built equally. We are equally of importance. Damn it. We're equal that was supposed to pop up now. Yeah, let's say we're equally of importance, but we're we have two completely different roles. Oh, I'm about to die again. I'm about to die again. Dang it. Yeah, that's the 3 strikes. I might expo on 50. But no, we obviously have different things, but we have equal importance. So like the fact that you think you're supposed to be a woman is it's illogical because men and women are obviously different. That's why men, if like let's say Michael Jordan, even right now, if he converted to a woman, I'm sure he would average freaking 30 in the WNBA. Or imagine guys like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Stephen Curry, oh, or imagine like Mike Tyson saying he's gonna convert to a woman, he's gonna go fight women now. Like you know in your heart that's not fair because they are built differently. Men are built to work. Men have testosterone, women have estrogen. Men like I obviously both have both, but men have more of one, women have more of the other. But men are built to fight, hunt, to react with logic instead of emotions. Like there's just men are we're wired differently. So and to think that you can just make a decision and change that is crap. And like the mass the whoever's ruling over us, you call them the Illuminati, Freemasonry, it can be I don't know the government, I don't know whatever you want to call it. They want to do this because it's causing such a separation to people, and it's causing people to be so much more broken. And like how many trans people are like killing themselves because they went, as a dude who went cut his sexual organ off and realized you can't do that, can't go back, and then you realize that yeah, that was just more of he was in a bad place at the time. So and you can't take back some actions. Some things you can apologize, some things you can change. Some things are permanent. After you do certain things to certain people, it's permanent. If you do cut your damn meat off, it's permanent. Like it doesn't make sense to me because if I went to a doctor and I told the doctor I felt like I shouldn't have my left arm, and my left arm doesn't work like my right arm does, I want to cut it off. The doctor would look at me and say I was crazy because even though I believed I shouldn't have a left arm, it is obvious that I should. But for some reason in this world, you say that about a man's genitalia or changing a woman's genitalia, it's completely normal. It's a-okay. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. There's no way, shape, or form that it does. Now, I don't judge these people. I just know there's a reason for it. There's a reason why people's mind works the way they does. Same thing. Like, this is going to be a controversial thought, but I don't think gay is something that you're born into. It's something that's forced. It might be in your subconscious from before you can remember. It might be when you was young, because your memories don't start till you're 5, 6. I mean, some people earlier, some people later. But I think you just don't remember it. But I think it happens. It has to be for a reason because it doesn't happen naturally in the animal kingdom, and it hasn't been a natural thing that's happened like in the '60s. It wasn't a frequent thing like it is now. But now everybody is like, oh, it's okay. You can do it. You can do what you want to. It's all about how you feel. This, that, and the other, and it's causing more people to think it's okay and more people to fall for it. Yeah, I'm expo. My throat hurts and I'm tired. I gotta pee. I gotta go to the gym, so I'm gonna be done with this video. But anyways, no, there's just certain absolute truths that are in this world. There's certain things that no matter what you believe, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, it's a fact. Like it's so odd that you can ask trans people like, hey, you, can a man identify as a woman? Absolutely. Okay. Can a white man identify as a black? No. Why not? Because that's how you're born. Really? So it's being born as a gender is not how you're born. It makes no sense. There's so many flawed arguments with their with their point of view that they're trying to spread. But yeah, there's absolute truth, and there's just no matter what you feel, no matter what you think, it doesn't change fact. And God is one of those facts. But anyways, man, it's been fun. I appreciate y'all if you stuck with me. Like I said, spread the message, tell your people, let it be known what's what, and y'all stay safe out there. God bless. Thanks for joining in. Peace.